You wake up in a lavish palace, but the king's whims control your every move. Your beauty is both your power and your peril. Welcome to the life of a royal mistress in medieval England, where luxury and danger collide. In medieval England, a royal mistress was no ordinary concubine, unlike those in Chinese or Ottoman courts. These women, like Rosamund Clifford or Alice Perers, were the king's lovers, wielding influence without official titles. Their lives blended opulence with constant risk. Step into your journey as a royal mistress, from a noble childhood to a precarious courtly existence. Expect shocking twists and vivid details that reveal the true cost of power and beauty. You start life in the lap of luxury, born into a noble family in a grand stone fortress like Clifford Castle. Servants bustle around, and the air smells of fresh bread and polished wood. Life feels like a fairy tale, but your parents drill one lesson into you early. Beauty and charm are your tickets to a bright future. Even as a toddler, you're already catching on that a sweet smile can get you an extra honey cake. By age 5, your parents pack you off to a convent, something like Godstow Abbey, for a proper education. You learn to read, write, and even stumble through a bit of Latin, all under the stern gaze of nuns. Embroidery and dancing lessons fill your days, and though the discipline is tough, you secretly love the romantic tales of knights and courts whispered during breaks. Those stories spark dreams of one day dazzling everyone in a glittering palace. Playtime is your escape, and you throw yourself into games like hide-and-seek or skipping rope in the castle's sprawling gardens. You cradle wooden dolls, dressing them in scraps of silk and pretending they're princesses heading to a royal ball. These moments let your imagination run wild, picturing yourself sweeping into a grand hall someday. Your childish giggles echo off stone walls, but you're already learning the world expects more from you than just fun. Your parents, maybe someone as influential as Walter de Clifford, shape your worldview with lessons on loyalty and power. Family dinners are less about love and more about strategy, with talk of alliances and noble houses. You're taught to charm guests, flashing dimples to win over crusty old barons. It's clear your role is to boost the family's status, and you start to see how every smile could open doors. One night, you sneak out of bed and overhear your father spinning tales about King Henry II. His court a dazzling whirl of power and intrigue. Your heart races as you imagine yourself there, draped in velvet, catching the king's eye. That moment plants a seed, and suddenly your doll games feel too small. You're not just a noble girl anymore, you're dreaming of a life where you could hold a king's heart and maybe his kingdom in your hands. At 12, you're whisked away from the cozy familiarity of home to serve as a lady-in-waiting for a noblewoman, or maybe even the queen herself. The court is a dazzling maze of velvet gowns and whispered secrets, but it's also a crash course in etiquette. You learn to glide instead of stomp, to curtsy without wobbling, and to keep your mouth shut when the grown-ups are scheming. It's thrilling, but you're constantly on edge, terrified of spilling wine on some duke's fancy doublet. Your days are packed with lessons to polish you into a proper court lady. You master the lute, your fingers dancing over the strings to pluck out sweet melodies, and you twirl through dances until your feet ache. Embroidery becomes your battlefield, stitching perfect roses while dreaming of grander things. Most importantly, you perfect the art of the well-timed smile, a little tilt of the lips that can make any lord or knight notice you just a bit more. One evening, at a glittering feast, your eyes lock with the king's across a sea of candlelight and clinking goblets. Your heart thumps so loud you're sure the whole hall can hear it, and your cheeks burn as he holds your gaze a moment too long. Is this it? The moment that could rewrite your entire future? You're torn between giddy excitement and the sinking fear that one wrong move could ruin everything. Back home, your parents are relentless, sending letters that nag you to shine brighter and charm harder. They remind you that catching the right eye could rocket your family to new heights of power and wealth. Every misstep feels like a betrayal of their dreams, and the pressure weighs on you like a too tight corset. You start to see your beauty not just as a gift, but as a tool, one you'd better wield perfectly. Then you notice the other girls, all fluttering lashes and practiced giggles, circling the king like hawks. The court is a battlefield of sidelong glances and subtle jabs, and you're right in the thick of it. You learn fast that every smile you flash at the king earns you a rival's icy stare. The competition is fierce, and you're not just fighting for attention, but for a chance to shape your destiny in a world where women like you have to be clever to survive. Your charm and wit work their magic, and the king, perhaps Henry II himself, can't take his eyes off you. One fateful evening, he summons you to his private chambers, a candlelit room draped in rich tapestries. Your stomach flips with a wild mix of thrill and terror, knowing this moment could catapult you to power or ruin you completely. Every step toward his door feels like walking a tightrope over a pit of glittering possibilities. Your family gets wind of the king's interest, and they're over the moon, practically planning their new castle already. But their pride comes with a side of nervous whispers, warning you that being a royal mistress is like juggling flaming torches. One wrong move, and you could burn your family's name to ash. Their letters urge you to keep the king happy while staying sharp, a balancing act that leaves you dizzy. Navigating the palace becomes a daily game of stealth, as you glide through marble halls dodging the queen's piercing glares and the jealous smirks of other ladies-in-waiting. You learn to keep your head down, but your eyes sharp, reading every room for allies or enemies. The court is a chessboard, and you're a pawn with dreams of being a queen, always watching your back. Each polite smile you offer hides the pulse of fear that someone's plotting against you. The king showers you with gifts, dazzling necklaces that sparkle like stars and velvet cloaks soft as a whisper. You feel like royalty, twirling in front of your mirror, but the weight of those treasures reminds you of the cost. Every gem comes with an unspoken vow of absolute loyalty, tying you tighter to the king's whims. You clutch them close, knowing they're both your armor and your chains in this dangerous game. Whispers of Rosamund Clifford, a former mistress rumored to have been poisoned by a vengeful Queen Eleanor, start haunting your dreams. The tale's probably just a spicy legend, but it's enough to make your skin crawl every time you sip your wine. You lie awake at night, wondering if your charm will be enough to keep you safe, or if you're just one misstep from becoming another cautionary tale. The palace is your glittering cage, and you're learning fast that survival means staying one step ahead of everyone else. Your days as a royal mistress settle into a dazzling but demanding rhythm, starting at dawn when you slip into a silk gown embroidered with gold and studded with gems. The palace is already buzzing, and you're at the king's side, maybe brushing his hair or picking out a velvet doublet that screams power. It's intimate, almost sweet, but you're always performing, aware that every gesture is watched. You feel like a peacock, strutting in all your finery, but one wrong feather could spell disaster. After sunrise, you join the court for mass in the chapel, kneeling on a cushioned pew as incense swirls around you. You pray fervently for your safety and the king's favor, whispering pleas to keep the queen's wrath at bay. The priest's Latin drones on, but your mind races, calculating how to stay in the king's good graces. It's a holy moment wrapped in a very unholy game of survival. Breakfast is a modest affair, just bread, cheese, and a sip of weak ale, but you nibble daintily to maintain your elegant image. No gobbling like a tavern wench for you. Every bite is a performance of grace. You're constantly aware of the eyes on you, judging if you're still worthy of the king's affection. It's exhausting, but you've learned to make even a crumb look like a royal feast. By midday, you retreat to the solar, a sunlit room where you stitch delicate patterns or read poetry that makes your heart flutter. Sometimes you pen letters to your family, but a nosy scribe hovers, ensuring you don't spill any court secrets. The quiet hours are a rare chance to breathe, but even here, you're crafting your image, every stitch and word a step towards securing your place. You dream of a day when you can relax, but that's a luxury you can't afford. Afternoons often mean joining the king for hunting or a leisurely ride, your horse's hooves pounding as you show off your grace in a flowing cloak. You laugh at his jokes, tossing your hair just right to catch the sunlight, but it's all calculated. The wind in your face feels free, but you're tethered to the king's mood, always gauging if he's still enchanted. You're a star in his courtly show, and the spotlight is both your throne and your trap. Dinner is the grand event, a feast of roasted venison, sugary pastries, and rivers of wine, with harpists strumming in the background. You sit near the king, smiling until your cheeks ache, even if you're bone-tired or fretting about court gossip. Every clink of a goblet feels like a test, and you're forced to shine while dodging barbed comments from rival ladies. It's a banquet of splendor and stress, and you're the main course everyone's watching. Evenings might find you lingering with the king, sharing quiet laughs or something more. But the palace walls have ears. You're always on guard, wondering if the queen's spies are noting every word. The candlelight casts long shadows, and you feel the weight of 1,000 judging eyes, even in these private moments. You're his confidant, his muse, but you're also a target, and that thought never leaves you. You've learned to wield your influence like a velvet glove, slipping clever advice into the king's ear, much like Alice Perers did with Edward III. A soft word here, a suggestion there, and suddenly your family's lands are safer or a friend gets a shiny new title. It's thrilling to pull those strings, but every move risks painting a bigger target on your back. You're playing chess with the kingdom, and you're not sure if you're a queen or a pawn. If you have children, their fate hangs in the balance, teetering on the king's unpredictable whims. They might be legitimized, like Henry I's bastards, or cast aside, forgotten by the court. You fuss over them in secret, your heart aching at the thought of them growing up as pawns in this ruthless game. Every lullaby you sing carries a prayer that they'll escape the shadows of your precarious position. Danger lurks in every corner, with the queen and rival mistresses sharpening their claws behind false smiles. One chilling night, you overhear a servant whisper that you've been cursed, doomed to fall like some tragic heroine. The rumor's probably nonsense, but it's enough to make you triple-check your food and sleep with one eye open. In this glittering cage, you're the king's treasure, but you're also the court's favorite prey, and survival means never letting your guard down. The king's gaze starts wandering, landing on a younger, fresher face, and it stings like a slap you didn't see coming. Your heart cracks, but you paste on a serene smile, nodding graciously as if you're above it all. Every laugh you force feels like swallowing glass, yet you glide through the court, head high, refusing to let the gossip see you crumble. You've played this game too long to let a rival steal your dignity, even if your nights are spent wrestling with jealousy and doubt. Soon, the king's favor fades, and you're gently nudged out of the spotlight, perhaps offered a marriage to a loyal noble, like Catherine Swynford, or a quiet retreat to a convent, like Rosamund Clifford. You pack your silks and jewels, trading the palace's clamor for a manor's hush or a cloister's calm. It's a softer life, but the stillness feels strange, like wearing someone else's skin. You're free from the court's claws, yet you miss the pulse of power that once defined you. In the quiet of your new home, you sit by a fire, tracing the wild arc of your life, from starry-eyed girl to the king's dazzling muse. Was the glitter of court worth the sleepless nights, the enemies, the constant tightrope walk? Some days, you'd trade every emerald for a simpler life. Others, you'd relive every heart-pounding moment. Your past is a tapestry of triumphs and scars, and you're not sure if you're proud or just tired. Your children, if the king acknowledged them, might carry your legacy forward, rising as nobles like Catherine Swynford's Beaufort line. You watch them carve their own paths, your heart swelling with hope that they'll dodge the traps you faced. If they were cast aside, you quietly secure them what you can, a dowry or a trade, knowing their blood ties to royalty are both a gift and a curse. Their futures are your final gamble in a game you no longer play. Your final years unfold in peace, whether in an ivy-draped manor or a convent's stone walls, far from the court's scheming. You tend gardens or pray, your days simple but haunted by memories of candlelit feasts and the king's warm whispers. The drama of your youth feels like a vivid dream, one you recount with a wry smile to the few who visit. You slip away quietly, your name etched in history as a woman who danced with power and survived its sharp edges. Your life as a royal mistress in medieval England weaves a vibrant tale, from a dreamy childhood in a noble castle to the thrilling yet perilous years by the king's side. Each step, from dodging courtly daggers to basking in the glow of royal favor, shaped you into a woman of resilience and cunning. The palace's splendor came with a price, paid in sleepless nights and whispered threats, but you navigated its treacherous halls with grace. Now, in the quiet of your later years, you carry the weight of those memories, a testament to a life lived boldly at the heart of power.